everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree farmhouse hearts. We're going to do 5 ways into one banner, but obviously you could do whatever you want. We're going to use these wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree. They can have printing on them or not. And then I'm going to use these beads that I got on Amazon. I'm going to link them in the description box down below, but you can paint Dollar Tree beads and then some cotton twine. The beads were sort of an inspiration that I got from a banner we did the other day from Hobby Lobby. But what we're going to do first is we're going to whitewash all of these. Now these all say Happy Valentine's Day etched in one side and they're plain on the back. We're going to just use a tiny bit of chalk paint, like almost dry brushed all over. And then I'm going to use a wipe or a wet paper towel. You do whatever you want. And we're going to sort of create whitewash. And this is just another way of creating the whitewash. I'm just taking it and I'm rubbing it in. I'm wiping it off and rubbing it in at the same time. And you see there, it is a very subtle difference, but it is still a difference. You can see the white for sure. That was on the left. So we're going to repeat all of this. We're going to repeat this to all 5. And I'm actually going to show you how it looks to whitewash over the etched in words. That you can still see the etched in words. So an option definitely could be to whitewash over it and then fill in the letters with whatever color you want or marker you want or anything like that. So I'm going to show you that here in a second. And then the beading part is optional. The whole design of this is sort of like I wanted to teach you 5 different techniques. You don't have to create them all like the banner that I'm creating, but I wanted to show you in case you wanted to repeat one of them over 5 different hearts. So guess what I'm trying to say. Again, depending on your skill level, your patience level, the whole thing. Okay, so I'll show you here. Still see the letters and that you could fill them in if you want to, even with the whitewash technique. Okay, but we're just going to flip it over and we're going to use the back, but I did want to share that with you, so I thought that that was something you might want to know if you wanted to make this like a specific Valentine's Day banner. The reason I didn't call it a Valentine's Day banner is because other than it being heart-shaped, it's got no correlation to Valentine's. All 5 different patterns can be used in any of your farmhouse decor, and they can be used with any of these wood pieces. Actually could be really used anywhere, but any of these wood pieces, like you can do them for Easter on the eggs, you can do them for Christmas on the trees, whatever you want. So for the first one is the easiest one, and I mean that because we're just going to take the square from the Dollar Tree. The reason I'm using the square from the Dollar Tree is that skinny part of that ruler is a 1-inch wide piece, so it makes it so easy. I've just found middle, drawn a line on both sides, and now I'm taking a flat head screwdriver. That's all it is, and I'm just scoring back and forth a few times. The reason this one's easier than the Shiplap one is because this goes with the grain of the wood. The grain of the wood on these are up and down as opposed to horizontal. So this one is the easiest one. And it creates this sort of barn board paneled look. Now, you can go ahead and add additional color. You can use the antique wax. You can add any sort of gray, weathered, whitewash board. Anything that we've done in the past, you can go ahead and age it more. But I just wanted to leave it like this to show you. Now the next one is not the most difficult, but it is one that we've done before. If you remember from last Christmas, we made our own buffalo check using magic marker only. And we're going to do it again on a much smaller scale. Now again, I'm using this ruler as a perfect template to make 1-inch boxes. Basically, you're just going to draw lines on both sides of the ruler and going to create a checkerboard sort of type of situation. Then we're going to do is we're going to turn it on an angle. Let me zoom in for you. Sorry for it's a little fuzzy, but it's really zoomed in a lot. And we're just going to create basically lines. These are not any type of measurement. They're just, I moved the ruler down what seemed like the same space as the one previous. And you're just going to do diagonal lines across diagonally connecting boxes. As you notice, I'm skipping, not going continuous straight lines because some of those boxes have to stay white. Okay, so we're just going to do this across. This is going to be the checkerboard. So when we're done with this particular technique of the diagonals, we're going to have a checkerboard of white and boxes with diagonal lines through them. Now, if you have a different buffalo check technique, 100% go ahead and do that if you're more comfortable with it. If you want a decoupage fabric or any of that stuff, you can as well. I don't It's not my favorite thing. Let's put it that way. It's not my favorite thing to cover these wooden hearts with paint or paper or anything, because we try so hard with Dollar Tree products to get real wood things that it really just, that breaks my heart, but it really just was like, I really would rather cover chipboard things with paper. If that makes any sense to you, hopefully it does. I love the way that the wood grain comes through in the whitewash. You can't really pick it up on the camera as much, but you can definitely see the wood technique, and you can see the wood look and everything. So, and I have done, don't hold me accountable, I've definitely covered wood things with paper and decoupage before, but it's just not my favorite thing to do. So I wanted to do this quick technique for those of you who have not maybe seen this before. Now, using that same square on the inside, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, as you notice, I put the square right up the edge, and then I wanted to test the width of the marker. So what I do is I put the square, and then I rub the marker up to it and say, oh, I have to move the square back a little bit so that the marker gets to the edges. And I do that, and I color in like about a half of it in one direction. I turn the heart over, and I get the other corner, the other two sides, and repeat the process until I have a row of black and check and a row of white and check. Okay? So that is that. Now this next one is Farmhouse, but it's definitely more specific to me as French Country Farmhouse. There is ticking fabric all over Farmhouse DIYs, but for me, this always emanates French Country Farmhouse to me, but it's basically mattress ticking, which is that really cool stripe that has like a thick stripe with thin stripes on both sides. This is probably the most specific, but not really difficult, but it just has the measurements. So what I've done is I've marked down the center. I put the ruler at the 2-inch mark on the center. And then what I did was going from the center to the left and the center to the right. I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to mark it the 1/4 inch mark from that 2-inch point, 1/4 inch to the left, 1/4 inch to the right, which is going to leave me a 1/2 inch stripe down the middle. And then I went 1/8 of an inch further than that on both sides. And then I went to the 1-inch mark, and I repeated that. So from the 1-inch mark, I went 1/4 inch on each side of the 1-inch mark, and then I went 1/8 of an inch past that. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you, as you see, if once I clear that center stripe away, it's going to give you a half inch stripe with a stripe 1/4 of an inch away from that. And that's going to create that ticking look. Now, I wanted my stripes to be this thick. If you want your stripes to be thinner, obviously just move your marks in. If you wanted just like a smaller, thinner stripe with more empty spaces between them, 100% do that. But I knew that I was working on a small scale, so I wanted it to be sort of crowded so I can get more effect in there. So what I've done is I'm just taking that ruler, and I'm doing that same technique where I'm measuring the width of the marker by starting the ruler on the line and then moving it back just enough to have the marker touch the line. And I'm using this Dollar Tree fake fat Sharpie, but you could use whatever you want. The Sharpie itself is just going to take up a lot more time and a lot more ink. And then I'm using the regular, it's called fine point Sharpie, even though it's not the ultra fine. You don't really think of it as being ultra fine, but I mean fine, but it is. And I'm taking a fine point Sharpie, which is a regular Sharpie, and I'm just doing those lines that are on the other sides of the thick lines, okay? And I'm going to repeat that all the way across. And on the edges. So what I did was I put those marks, the same marks, halfway down so that I could connect the stripes. This way you get nice even lines. If you have a center point and you have a way that you're gonna, put your measurements down, measure twice and cut once, but measure twice and draw once. That's what I would say. So this is the second to last one that I think is the second to most difficult, only because we're now going to do Shiplap, which is basically the same lines that we did before with the barn boards, but they're going to go in the other direction. So if you notice, I'm not scraping in real hard because I don't want to chip away any of that wood. So I'm just doing a bunch of even-handed strokes across the thing, the same width as the ruler. Now, the reason I'm saying this is the second most difficult, because again, if you have dexterity or strength in your hand issues, that might become a problem. But this one is my absolute favorite, but it probably takes the most skill to do it with handwriting. What I've basically done is taken this Dollar Tree's glass brush marker that they came out with recently, and I'm just picking a few different Farmhouse fonts and a few different Farmhouse sayings. I've picked home, farm, family, love, and blessed. And I'm trying to use 4 different fonts or font types or font styles. And I am writing it with the black marker now. I knew the effect that I wanted was to have the gray or silver writing in the background. However, I should have done them first. I should have plotted it out a little better, because this silver marker from the Dollar Tree does go over the black. So all I'm doing is I'm filling in with other words to make them feel like they're background words. Like we're repeating love, but with just a different font, gather, fresh, those kinds of things, and whatever you want, cherish. And then I'm going over the black that got covered by the silver with the black pen again. Now it's time to assemble them. Avengers assemble. No copyright infringement there because I said it. What I'm doing is I'm just taking a string. This is the cotton twine from the Dollar Tree. You use whatever string you want to hang them with. You can hang them any way you want to. We're just going to repeat the same thing we did the other day, where we're going to connect beads between them, a small one, a large one, and a small one. But this time we're going to glue the beads in place so that they don't slide around. And this is cotton twine, not jute, so they will tend to slide around a little bit more. These beads are really nice. They were $12.99 for the kit. They came with over 100 something beads. I don't know, the link in the description box, but it also came with like a jewelry wire, which was really kind of cool. So it was definitely worth it in my opinion. And I think that this was, no, I bought this back in the autumn. So I've had it for a while, and this is the first time I'm actually using it. Okay? But I'm doing the same thing where you're going to find where you want your heart to be. This one happened to be in the middle, so I'm going to hang nope, this one happened to be on the end. So I'm going to find how far I want from the hoop and put the loop through the hole from the front. Take the loop and put it around the heart so it comes back around the front. And yeah, like that, except slower. And then what I'm doing is I'm measuring how far apart they are. So I put on a heart, I glued on the 3 beads, and then I used the middle of the beads to center, to make the same equidistant hearts. Oh my goodness, I should be able to talk better, don't you think? If I'm going to have a YouTube channel, I definitely should be able to get my stuff together and talk to you guys. Okay, one more time. You're going to take the loop where you want your heart to hang. You're going to push the loop through the hole from the front. You're going to come around underneath the bottom, around the back, and you're going to open your loop up and basically come back around your heart and cinch at the top. Then you're going to measure for where the previous beads were, of where you want your beads to land, like this. And then you're going to put your glue on both ends so that it stays equidistant. Then you're just going to repeat by measuring where your next heart needs to be, and so on and so forth, until you're all done with the banner, the size that you wanted. Now, this is just an option. The Dollar Tree does give you little pieces of jute that you can actually just tie a string onto a string, which is perfectly fine. You can do that. If you have jewelry making stuff, then you could use jump rings. You can really, the sky is the limit. But I wanted to teach this to you, and I don't know. I just think it's fun this way. It won't move around. Let's put it that way. It's not going to be adjustable. So make it where you want it to be, and then make sure you want it to stay there forever and ever. And then we're just going to create another hanger on the other side, and that's it. So hopefully you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. Oh, that one's crooked. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. If you make one of these or make a banner with any of these techniques, definitely go ahead and share it with me on social media. I'd love to see what your take of it is. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And if I haven't said it yet, I'd just like to thank everybody for stopping by my channel. As always, you guys take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye!